You just won $1 billion. What are you still not buying? Story 1. Depending on what you drive and where you live, windshield warranties can be 100% worth it. When we were signing all the documentation to purchase our Nissan Cube, the sales lady asked if we wanted specialized windshield insurance. I immediately declined. I never had need for such a silly thing, right? She then quietly put her pen down and looked me in the eyes. She said, "You're getting a Cube. I really think you ought to consider getting the windshield warranty." And with a knowing smile, she let me ponder that. Consider how aerodynamically ridiculous a Nissan Cube is. Now add to that the fact we were living in Calgary at the time, which is known for all the gravel they cover the roads with in the winter. I'm so glad I opted for the coverage, because the moment we merged onto the highway from leaving the dealership, we took our first rock chip. That was less than 5 minutes of driving time. Cost us $700 and was good for 5 years. Paid for itself in the first year. We live in BC now. The road rocks here are significantly friendlier. Story 2. A super yacht. For one thing, that's half the money gone immediately, followed by ongoing $2 million plus, sometimes 10x that, in maintenance and operations costs. You can charter it out to reduce the costs, but then you can't even use your yacht whenever you want to anymore. You have to fit it into the chartering schedule and deal with the knowledge that someone probably used your bed to bang 6 crack whores on it the week before. And apart from that, it's not just a toy you can own and forget about until you want to use it. Owning a yacht is the same thing as owning a small business. They require full-time crew even when it's docked. They require yard periods for frequent maintenance. The logistics and decisions involved every day are insane. And even if you hire management to handle a lot of it for you, you still have to handle the management and constantly tell them what decisions to make so they don't make the wrong ones. And it's not even that fun using a super yacht. Most of the things they do on them could be done just as easily without the yacht. Parties, jet skiing, having a chef make you meals. The yacht is just another venue for things you could just as easily do at home or anywhere else. It often doesn't take long for even the super rich to decide it just isn't worth the hassle anymore. The smarter ones just don't buy one in the first place. It's easier just to charter one that you don't own, whenever you feel like it, and then forget all about it again when you get back home. A few uber-wealthy folks are just way into yachting and do really enjoy ownership, even despite all those hassles. But most don't, and that's why most yachts are never owned by the same owner for more than a couple years. Source: I work in the super yacht industry. Story 3. $20,000 handbags. Heck, I wouldn't even buy a $1,000 handbag. What in the world is the point? I bought a $600 briefcase about 15 years ago, so probably at least $1,000 in today money. It's a leather one from one of those brands that's all about, they'll fight over it after you're dead and a 100-year warranty. It's been my EDC ever since. It's been on 3 continents and probably 30 states. Hundreds of flights, thousands of trips on public transportation, more hotel rooms and conference rooms than I could count. It has developed a little bit of a patina, but otherwise it's still exactly like the day I bought it. Which is a lot to say. A really high-quality bag might be expensive up front, but if it looks fantastic you can use it forever. I used to wear out a $150 bag every year or so. I'm not easy on them, and I need something that looks professional. This thing has saved me so much money by now.
Story 4. Fillers are kind of horrifying a lot of the time, but I'm actually super grateful it exists. I did get lip filler last winter for a chronic angular cheilitis rash, because I'd tried several diets and every topical mediation on the market. All of them burn on application too, woo, and I was literally leaking pus from the corners of my mouth. Let's just say I was very much okay with the mask orders that were still in place. Then, a telehealth doctor told me that she couldn't officially prescribe it, but if I wanted to pay out of pocket, she'd seen lip fillers clear up extremely stubborn angular cheilitis like magic. So in desperation, I tried it after previously saying that I would never get lip filler. The damn rash was gone in 2 days and hasn't been back since. I haven't even had any more filler. I spent 2 winters in a row battling that excruciating and embarrassing rash and applying burning ointment every 20 minutes, and all I fucking needed was a single vial of filler. So, yeah, I'm still kinda mad nobody told me that sooner, because I thought I'd be dependent on that horrible medication every winter for the rest of my life. I never thought I'd say this, but I don't entirely hate filler. I hope I never need it again, but it did end my agony, and I definitely don't regret it. I hope it gets approved for medical use soon, because holy hell, that could have saved me so much suffering. That rash was so painful. Story 5. A Tesla. What's crazy is that a Tesla was my pie-in-the-sky dream car since like 2012, 10 years later, and Elon has gone from seeming like a tech-savvy business guru to being a complete fucking idiot who got lucky and used to be marketable. Edit. To be clear, I didn't want a Tesla BC of Elon. I wanted a Tesla because I wanted an electric car. Its marketing made it seem like a better car than it was. People I thought were cool owned them. I don't want it now that I know what an asshole Elon is because I don't want to put money in his pocket. Story 6. Wouldn't you have a private theater at that point, with a man named Jeeves bringing you snacks? That would kind of be my answer if what I would buy if I was a billionaire. Not like one in my house that only I would use. I'd love to just buy a small cinema and run it at a loss, publicly screening older niche cult movies for cheap. If I wanted a private screening, I could just leave a gap in the showing times to do it. Story 7. Not buying a luxury car. I might buy a few model year newer version of my current car, but not buying a Tesla, Rolls-Royce, or anything like that. I drive a Toyota Yaris from 2002, 1 liter. It does 50 miles a gallon, easily can fit 5 people in it. I've actually gotten 6 people in it before. Drives pretty well, and I regularly do 200-mile trips in it. I could afford something more expensive, but my car suits me just fine. If I had $1 billion, I'd probably keep it as my runaround because it's cheap to run and easy to park. Story 8. An iPhone. Sorry, I love my Android. I don't like the way their devices work. I know people say they are easier, but I find them frustrating to use personally. Everything I need to do, I can do on my Windows devices. I haven't personally had any longevity issues with those, and they don't cost as much. My last personal frustration, before my wife moved to an Android, was moving music around. Why can't I just plug the phone into a computer and drag and drop? Why make it needlessly complicated? Story 9. Amazon Music Unlimited. Amazon Music's CEO ruined Prime Music by eliminating the ability to play a chosen song from their catalog. Instead, they dump you to a list of similar music of their choosing, with an ad. Unless you cough up the dough for premium. I'm never paying for Prime, and then paying again for premium, just so I can hear the song I selected in the first place. Story 10. A McMansion. I would love a cool house and a pool and a hot tub and such, but people I know who live in rich people neighborhoods have unfortunate houses. Huge, but made very shiftily, and they feel like being in a motel. In America, people in the top 1% often have poor taste and just want garbage, but more of it. Yep, there are builders who absolutely can and will build you a good house. But most customers just want max square footage per dollar, and to check a list of boxes for features. Build quality, architecture, nah, who cares, just get me the cheapest, biggest thing you can. Story 11. I would never buy a Tesla vehicle, a mansion, a yacht, jet helicopter, submarine, or anything else I wouldn't be able to afford if I suddenly lost it all. I would buy a nice house where the property taxes would be manageable even if I lost it all, and buy nice furniture, decorations, and donate many millions to the major veterinary hospitals and shelters. I would live off the interest after finding the right place to store my fortune. I would probably fly first class if I did want to travel somewhere. Story 12. Well, I'm still not going to go to fancy restaurants and blow all my money on food that I can make at home. I'm probably not going to buy a Tesla. I'm definitely not going to buy a bunch of expensive cars since I'm only one person, and I can't drive them all at once. Still probably won't get the newest top-of-the-line phone because it's a scam anyway. Might switch banks though because I hate the bank I have. Yes, I guess really nothing overly expensive. Just seems like a waste of money. I'm a pretty simple person. I just want to get a cabin in the woods, live out the rest of my life in solitude. Story 13. A home. Costs too much, and I'd rather rent and be flexible for travel and less responsibility. I don't have anyone to leave whatever estate I will have. If someone asks me that you'd honestly rather rent if you were a billionaire, I will say, yeah, if shit goes wrong I have to fucking hire contractors etc. instead of just calling a landlord, and I'm not sticking around anywhere long enough to want to own a home. Also, if I am a billionaire and something really goes wrong with the renting process, I'll just pay out the lease and fuck off. Owning a home is a pain in the ass. If I am a billionaire, my goal isn't to amass more wealth, it's to enjoy the spice of variety in life in a modest way, so I can keep going until I die. I will never have children, be married, and I am the youngest of 4 in my family. My brother and sister have replaced us already. I am good, I don't give 2 fucks about the socioeconomic ladder competition, or keeping up with the Joneses. Story 14. A magic mixie. Toy companies preying on parents with $130 Canadian dollars. Glorified Jack-in-the-Boxes won't get my money. I got a few tiny toys from the dollar store. My plan is to have my kids add a bunch of silly potion ingredients we already own to a bowl. Pop Rocks candy, Alka-Seltzer, food coloring, dried flower petals, etc. And then add a cup full of baking soda, with the toy hidden inside, to the middle of the bowl, and have a toy appear magically when we pour vinegar into the cup and watch the fizz overflow into the potion. I expect that my kids will have just as much fun doing that a few times, with much less plastic money wasted. Story 15. Crazy fancy expensive cars. Listen, a nice Volvo or even Ford Nissan would be great. Truly all I would need while feeling nice and being functional. Don't need all the crazy bells and whistles and crazy expensive insurance rates. My wife and I were talking about that the other day. We both agree we wouldn't get status cars like a BMW, Mercedes, whatever. We don't want to draw attention to ourselves. We'd keep our existing small SUV, although we'd get rid of our old beater car and buy a truck.